Hi there, welcome along to Good Morning Transfers. We are into the final week of the transfer window. We've seen some big names move already. Will there be any further twists? We settle midfield at the moment. Plus, is Andy Welcome back to Good Morning Transfers. Let's bring you up to speed with Andy Robertson now. When we were here on Friday, we broke the news that Tottenham Hotspur were in talks to sign him. But, Jamie, now looks like it won't happen.
Well, we're in one of those classic domino situations in the transfer window, Floydie, because it is all dependent on whether Roma can get in a left-back, because they've got Konstantinos Tsimikas at the moment. Liverpool want to get him back. He's out there on the loan at the moment. So it's not all over just yet. But if Roma can bring in a replacement for Tsimikas, then he'll be allowed to leave to come back to Liverpool, and then Andy Robertson might be allowed to leave Liverpool. But as things stand, Liverpool want to keep hold of him because they need cover in that position, and obviously they're still fighting on three fronts for the rest of the season. £5 million was the deal being discussed with Spurs. He would be exactly what...
Hope just yet. So just keep their fingers crossed there, Jamie.
Keep their fingers crossed. You never know what might happen. Okay. But I think it's all dependent on this Tsimikas situation.
Yeah, okay. From Liverpool point of view, you mentioned it there, they came on at half-time. They're very thin defensively at the moment. Joe Gomez got injured as well. Wataru Endo had to play in the game defensively. Was that a great example, that match, of why Liverpool should not let him go?
Listen, I'm a Spurs fan and I'd love to see him at Spurs, but I'd be baffled if they let him go. And honestly, if you have Tsimikas and Kirkes, for me, Robertson probably still starts ahead of both of them.
Really, yeah.
I think Kirkes could be a wonderful fullback, and I think when he's last season he was sensational. But it just hasn't been the same way. And I think if you speak to most of the Liverpool fans, they'd probably like to see Robertson. I think the compact nature of the games, the Champions League and stuff, yes, you want cover there, but I think if he's fully fit and raring to go, he's the one that probably leads the line for you potentially from now this season to give that stability in the defensive where they are lacking, and just kind of leaders.
Yeah, well, exactly. I mean, isn't that almost part of it? Never mind his ability on the pitch. Like, what does he bring to the change? You know, Andy Robertson as well. Like, when you've lost Trent Alexander-Arnold in the summer as well, to have somebody there who just bleeds Liverpool and has been at the club such a long time, surely his presence in the changing room means more than anything else.
Oh, massively, absolutely massive. And that's what Tottenham are trying to buy.
Yeah.
They're trying to bring that in because of all the experience. You're kind of thinking, well, the team that's in the Champions League pushing for it is that keen to bring him in. Maybe we should be having a second look at ourselves. But I presume it's player dependent. I would obviously feel he's slightly aggrieved that someone's replacing him, and he wants to be a guaranteed starter for the side, which would make you feel like he's obviously had a conversation, said he wants to go, which would be why I presume this is happening.
But yeah, I'm just trying to look at it from his point of view. You know, World Cup, we always hear that with these players. They want to play as regularly as possible. But he is playing a fair amount. I mean, he started the odd big game.
And there's no guarantee he'll start more for Tottenham.
No. Exactly. So I'm just trying to think, his thinking behind this. Is he necessarily going to play more games at Spurs?
I think as a player, he must feel that's where he's going to play more football. That has to be the mindset. You're not signing for Spurs thinking, I'm going to go and be a bit part player on that side. You're thinking, I'm going in, I'm going to start, or I'm going in and the competition that's up against me, I know for a fact I'm going to be better than them. And Spurs haven't invested highly in a full-back to replace him, whereas Liverpool have bought a left-back to replace him. So he's going to feel that they're going to give Kirkes the opportunity to play. They're going to want to see a return on their investment like they've seen in those forward areas. They're going to have to give them game time to settle in, and he feels like he's going to be surplus to requirements.
He's got a great chance of winning the Champions League at Spurs as well.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, definitely got a chance. Everyone's got a chance.
Got to be in it to win it.
Yeah, exactly. In terms of Spurs, though, we know what he would bring. He's a very good player, successful, brings something to the changing room as well. But Sousa has been signed, young left back, and when you look at the Spurs squad, should other areas not be more of a priority in terms of strengthening? Yeah,
I think what Spurs are crying out for is a more experienced forward at the moment. It's the goals that are a problem for Tottenham at the moment, especially when you're missing the likes of Dejan Kulusevski. Goodness knows when he might be back. James Maddison obviously out for the majority of the season as well. And you're right, they've brought in Sousa. He's clearly one for the future, Sousa. But if there's one area Spurs don't really have a problem at the moment, it's a fullback. Jed Spence has been playing really well this season. Destiny Udogi's coming back now from injury as well. But I think it is that leadership more than anything else, because that is what they're crying out for. This Spurs team, when they go a goal down in games, they just look as if they don't have it within them to turn a game around.
Apart from yesterday. Apart from against Burnley, rather.
Well, that's true. Yeah, they but I think just to have somebody in the dressing room who is so experienced is what they need.
I think as well, allow Spence to go to right back, which I think would cause competition in that area and makes it a little bit more, it breeds out the best in players when you have competition like that. And I think Robertson as well, if you're him thinking, I can get and play beside Van de Ven, who I know for a fact is going to cover every area. So if you're a fullback and you have someone beside you, like I was very lucky to have Ledley. And when I played with Ledley, I knew I could go and I didn't even have to think about what I left behind, because I knew he would cover that space. If you have Van de Ven behind you, it's exactly the same. I can go, and if I leave it, he's getting there. You could not that you're going to ammo back, but you could ammo back. So these are things you think about when you're playing about the people you're playing with.
All right. This is basically the Stephen Kelly part, because we're going to talk about another one of your teams